Yo, 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 what's happening? Nico here. We are going to be discussing some of the barriers that stop people from seeking help. I found three of them that came from the Recovery Research Institute. Coming in at number three, 21% of people chose not to seek help of any kind because they didn't think their drinking problem was serious enough. They didn't think they had a serious drinking problem. 21%. It was interesting to me when I found that statistic. There's a problem with that. And the problem with that is that what I believe the problem with that is, if you don't think your drinking problem is that serious, you're just waiting for something to go bad. That's like, oh, I got a nail in my tire. But it's not that bad, it's not leaking. Okay, yeah, you got a nail in your tire. It's not leaking right now. Okay. But you keep on using that tire, the tread's going to go down. And as the tread goes down, that nail's either going to get pushed in deeper or it's going to pop out. And then you're going to be left with the flat at some point in the near future. It might not even be near future. You might be lucky enough to go a couple months with that nail being used as a plug rather than a nail in your tire. I'm sure that somebody has come across you and said, hey, you have a problem with drinking. And you probably got hurt with them. You probably said, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. I don't have a problem with drinking. They have a problem with X, Y, and Z. Or you try to justify it. That one's my favorite. That's the one that I used to use all the time. You got no idea what's going on. Who are you to tell me not to drink? Look at your life. You see, the problem is that we don't think that we have a serious problem. So, when does it become a serious problem? Does it become a serious problem when you're sleeping in your truck? Does it become a serious problem when you don't have a vehicle to sleep in? Maybe your culture doesn't use vehicles very much, so maybe it's when you don't have a place to live. Is that when it's so serious? Is it a serious enough problem when you can't go to your homie's house, when your people around you are saying, no, we don't want to kick it with you anymore? When is it a serious problem would be my question to the 21% of people who don't seek help because I don't think I have a serious enough drinking problem. And don't get me wrong, I feel this pain because I didn't think I had a serious enough drinking problem. 2 bottles a day to me wasn't serious, quite honestly. There were certain indicators in life that, here, let me put it this way. I knew you had a serious problem in my head, right? In Nico's world, with the exposures and the experiences, the culture that I live in. You only have a serious drinking problem when you get caught with a DWI, or when you let your emotions take over so much because of alcohol that you physically hurt your girlfriend. Like, that's to me when you have a serious drinking problem. Because I never put hands on my girlfriend, and because I never got into a car or got caught with a DWI, let me say that, I didn't think I had a serious drinking problem. What's your definition of a serious enough problem? And do you want to let yourself get that far? I learned about emotional and verbal abuse later on in life. Yeah, I wouldn't put hands on a female, but I learned that, my words can be abusive. By restricting emotions from my girlfriend, that can be neglectful to her. Like, there's other ways that we as human beings can hurt and abuse other people. And when I started identifying, holy cow, Nico, you've done all those other things. You've said some very hurtful things to your girlfriend at the time. You restricted love from her at a point in your life because you were upset with her. Like that's not a good way to treat somebody. Just as bad as physically beating her up. In my world, right? Like that's how I had to come to understand it. Alcohol makes me act that way. Alcohol makes me act that way more than I normally would. I'm more okay with it. And like I said, I got a spirit of justification that gives me that. That says, oh, it's because of X, Y, and Z. You fill in your blank. I worked hard this week. This is what we do. I hope that I've agitated that problem a little bit for you, because what is a serious enough drinking problem? To me, a serious enough drinking problem is if you have kids, you're choosing to drink rather than spend time with them. Let me take a step back. I don't have kids, so to me, in my own realm, because we want to speak contextually, a serious enough drinking problem is one that takes me away from living in my full purpose. Having a clear mind. Being able to be in go mode at any point in time. That's a serious enough drinking problem for me. Alcohol, the hangover, all of it puts me in a fog. I don't have a clear mind. My body, I'm sure that you guys have experienced it, it doesn't bounce back as quickly. So hangovers last longer. We live in some crazier times nowadays. I gotta be on guard, on point, ready to rock at any moment throughout the day. That's the way I look at it. It's a serious enough problem that if I can't be ready to protect those that I love, provide for those that I love, and teach those that I love, if alcohol doesn't help me do that, then that's a serious enough problem for me. What's the serious enough problem for you? When will it become serious enough? I use drinking as my main talking point, but swap out that word for porn. Swap out that word for smoking. Swap out that word for any substance or vice that you have. Because we all have them. None of us are perfect. That's why we don't have halos. That's why it's okay to not be an angel. What's not okay is if you don't find a way to do better. So, my question to you, as I wrap up this kind of thought process, is are you going to be part of the 21% that doesn't seek help because you don't think you have a serious enough problem? Or are you going to recognize that you have a problem and start addressing it before it becomes serious? The goal is not to be an angel. It is to do better today.